Hi friends, it's Al or at Lilstarnerd on Instagram. Welcome to today's episode of, Hi friends, Hi friends, it's Al, no, I don't like having like, hi friends, okay. Fuck. Hi friends, it's Al or at Lilstarnerd, no, fuck, I don't like that. What, no, fuck, I don't, welcome, wait, yeah, fuck. Performance anxiety. For a while on Instagram and more recently on YouTube, people have been requesting, wanting to know how I draw, how I do the things that I do. And that's a great question. The issue is I don't have an answer because I don't know what I'm doing, like at all. Like I literally have no clue what I'm doing. So instead we're gonna do a process video. That way I don't have to teach you things. You can just watch and maybe learn something. I don't know. You're literally just gonna watch me from beginning to end do an illustration like the things that you've seen in my sketchbooks, using the general supplies that I normally use. Yeah, hopefully it works well because I can draw. I promise I can draw, but when a camera turns on or someone stands over my shoulder, I lose all ability to function and do anything even remotely good. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you learn, maybe. I don't know. Let's see how this, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, let's talk about the supplies that I use. I'm using a Mossery sketchbook. This is watercolor paper, Copic markers, Prismacolor colored pencils, and then a kneaded eraser and a red erasable pencil. It's not a special brand or anything. They're like $1 at Walmart. They're super, like, they're not artist pencils. Yeah, so let's talk about my process. I always like to tape off the edges of my paper. I just think it looks pretty. I like the way that looks. I like having the border around an illustration or a drawing or whatever. I just think it looks cleaner. And then I'm starting in on my sketch with my red pencil. Sketching is hard sometimes, but sometimes it comes easy. Today, thankfully, it went pretty well, and I'm happy with the sketch. I usually do a messier sketch, erase it, and then go back and go in with a lot of detail to make sure that everything is where I want it to be and how I want it to look. I do want to mention that I'm using pretty high quality supplies, but you don't need to. I happen to have this Mossery sketchbook that was sent to me about a year ago, and the only reason I have so many Copic markers is because Michaels just did, I'm sure you've heard, they just did that sale where normally $8 Copic markers were being sold for 99 cents. So that's the only reason I have Copic markers. You don't need nice supplies. It's all about, I think, your skill and your comfort level with the supply. I'm not gonna lie and say that having nice supplies doesn't help. Of course it helps, but you can work with what you got. There are plenty of other alcohol-based markers that work really well. I'll usually add some shading just for reference for myself later, and then I will lightly go over it with my kneaded eraser again, and then I go in with my markers. I usually like to start at the eyes, both in the sketch and the color. It's just a focal point, and so it's easy to kind of start there and work outwards. Sometimes I work very methodically and do, you know, a section at a time, and then sometimes I'm jumping back and forth between different areas of the drawing. I really like using vibrant color. It's something that I've always done. I've gotten a few compliments on that, and I want to thank you guys for noticing. I really like using vibrant color. I notice color like mostly like that's like what my eyes look for in things, and so I usually punch up undertones, and I really like to find those undertones and lay them down and then like work from there. So a lot of my drawings I'll have like that bright yellow underneath, or like blues and greens. I like to go from lighter values to darker values and blend them out, and then usually once I go back and start adding in the darkest values, I'll realize that my darker values aren't quite dark enough, and I'll go back and add more there. I think variation and contrast is important. The marker, the coloring, can take anywhere from like an hour to like a couple of hours, depending on how in the zone I am. I was watching Avatar while doing this, so I was pretty in the zone. I definitely think I could have done more in contrast and shading, like shadows, on her face, because I don't think there's quite enough contrast. I don't think she's quite dark enough on one side of her face that's supposed to be in shadow. Once I feel like I have a good base layer of color, I'll start going in with the Prismacolor. I used to rely a lot more on Prismacolor. I would do like basically just pastels, and then anything that was even slightly dark I would use Prismacolor. But with practice with my markers, I've gotten more confident in putting down darker colors. So the Prismacolor, the color pencils, are usually just for details that are too fine for the markers to get to, or for layering light on top of dark. Again, I go back to the eyes. I always like start each step with the eyes. So I do the eyes. The eyelashes especially are like one of my favorite things to do. I think once you add the eyelashes, like a portrait really starts coming together. But yeah, I use the colored pencils to add more undertone, more contrast, more detail, finer, like things like the eyebrows. Like I said, the eyelashes, details in the lips, harsher lines and shadows and stuff in the face. And then kind of outlining. I try not to outline, but there's something about doing it that just makes the illustration cleaner. Even though I don't want to rely on it, it feels more, wrapped up in my head when I do it. And then I went to town on the hair. I couldn't really get the shape of the hair. Like, something was always off. So I just kind of started scribbling. I kind of like the way it turned out. I don't think it looks bad. You can't tell what the hairstyle is, but it's hair. So that's something. And then obviously the background was just like a color marker. I just picked a random color that wasn't already prominent in the illustration and just blocked it in with one layer. Yeah, that's about it. That's basically my process, is just putting down a sketch. I'm lost without a sketch, so I always start with a sketch, putting down basic layers of marker, blocking it in, blending it out. It's like, just general using a marker and then going back in with colored pencils to do finer detail and stuff like that.
It's not about the kiss. I was surprised that there's more to it.
So what is it then? Was it the part where I asked you to tell me how you felt?
And I always finish it with like the highlights in the eye. That's always been like, back when I was a kid and I was doing like art lessons, my art teacher was like, you finish with the brightest white in the pupil. Even if there wasn't a highlight in my reference photo, we would add that highlight and it'd be like, the picture is done. So that's always like my final step, is adding that highlight. I also usually use colored pencil to add like blush. I always have this trouble finding like a good pink marker color for like blush that blends in well without being too neon pink, so I usually save that for colored pencils. Or what am I saying? I really like using like a coral color. I think it looks really pretty and it kind of looks like classic. Like, I've been doing like these Norman Rockwell studies and some old painters, and they always have like corally colors in the cheeks, and I just think it's really pretty. And that's my whole process. That's how I draw illustrations. That's what most of the things in my sketchbook, that's usually how I do it, is with that process. That's like my go-to. That's my favorite way to do illustrations and stuff. I think it looks pretty. This isn't like a how-to guide or like an explanation of like how to draw or how to use markers or anything like that. It's just the way that I do it with the supplies that I have on hand. Hopefully it's helpful. Maybe you can learn something from it, but it's not like this is how to draw properly or anything like that. So don't take it that way. If you like this video, like the video, possibly subscribe. Besides that, have a great day. Go do some art. Don't go outside, actually. We're still in a pandemic. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of your neighbors. Take care of your friends. And have a good one. Have a good one, guys.